Every grocery chain in America follows the exact same unwritten playbook. Stay open every single day of the year. Chase every customer with a loyalty app. Never say no to a guaranteed profit margin. Aldi looked at that playbook, lit it on fire, and started making decisions that should be financially insane on paper, and somehow keep making the company stronger. Today, we are counting down 15 moves Aldi made that no traditional grocery store would ever dare copy. Stick around, because reason number 1 is the policy that makes every other store's return policy look like a scam. Number 15, closing completely, company-wide, no exceptions. Walmart is open on Thanksgiving. Kroger is open on Easter. Traditional chains treat every major holiday as guaranteed revenue, dragging employees away from their families for last-minute gravy runs. Aldi closes every single location nationwide on major holidays, giving every employee the day off and forfeiting one of the highest traffic shopping days of the year. It looks like lost money. In practice, it has become one of the most powerful retention tools in an industry famous for brutal turnover. Retail turnover is notoriously brutal industry-wide, and training new employees is expensive and disruptive to the cross-trained efficiency Aldi depends on to run a store with only a handful of people on the clock. A guaranteed day off on the holidays that matter most to families is a cheap way to keep experienced employees from walking toward a competitor. This closure policy also removes an entire logistical headache that traditional chains deal with every single year. Staffing a skeleton holiday shift, paying holiday premium wages to whoever draws the short straw, and dealing with the inevitable complaints from employees who wanted the day off but couldn't get it. Aldi sidesteps the entire problem by simply refusing to be open at all. There is also a quieter financial calculation working underneath the surface here. A single day of lost holiday revenue is a known predictable cost that Aldi can plan around every single year. The alternative, forcing a skeleton crew of 3 to 5 employees to work a chaotic holiday rush with double the normal foot traffic, would put enormous strain on a staffing model that depends entirely on everyone showing up rested and functioning at full speed. Closing the doors protects the very system that makes the rest of the store's efficiency possible. But giving up a profitable holiday is nothing compared to the entire product category Aldi walked away from completely, which we are exposing in reason number 14. Number 14, refusing to sell cigarettes. Tobacco is one of the highest margin categories in any grocery store. It takes almost no shelf space and guarantees recurring sales regardless of price. Aldi does not sell cigarettes in any store, walking away from close to free money to protect the health-conscious, private label brand it has spent decades building, and to keep tobacco's age verification friction out of its lightning-fast checkout lanes. Every extra ID check at the register slows down the exact scan rate the company obsesses over, so walking away from tobacco also protects the fast checkout experience that keeps the rest of the store humming, on top of the brand image reasoning behind the decision. There is also a legal and compliance dimension that traditional stores rarely talk about publicly. Selling tobacco means navigating a patchwork of state and local regulations, mandatory employee training on age verification, and liability exposure if an underage sale slips through. Aldi's razor-thin staffing model has no slack for that kind of compliance overhead, so removing the category entirely is as much an operational decision as it is a values-driven one. That same willingness to sacrifice easy money for a bigger strategic reason shows up again at the register itself, in a decision that goes directly against what every other retailer in the country is racing to do, which is exactly where we are headed in reason number 13. If you're enjoying this video, take a second to hit the subscribe button. Number 13. Refusing to install self-checkout. Kiosks, Walmart, Kroger, and Target have all leaned hard into self-checkout to slash labor costs, pushing the scanning and bagging work onto the customer for free. Aldi has mostly refused. A trained Aldi cashier scanning over 1,000 items an hour is still faster than a customer fumbling through a kiosk, and human lanes close off the entire category of accidental and intentional underscanning that self-checkout is notorious for. That shrinkage argument matters enormously to a company whose profit margins already run thinner than a traditional supermarket's, since a single missed scan multiplied across millions of transactions adds up to real money lost. It is a rare case of a famously cost-obsessed company looking at the industry's favorite cost-cutting trend and deciding the math simply doesn't add up in its favor. Choosing human speed over automation runs completely against the direction the rest of the industry has moved, and that same instinct to protect its workforce instead of replacing it shows up again in the paychecks going out to every Aldi employee. Which brings us to reason number 12. Number 12. Paying above market wages. Without being asked, Traditional chains have spent decades treating entry-level wages as a line item to minimize, often moving only after a union fight forces their hand. Aldi has repeatedly raised starting wages nationwide well ahead of competitors without waiting for a labor dispute. It demands intense cross-training from a tiny staff and pays a premium for it, because underpaying that staff would collapse the exact efficiency the whole business model depends on. A traditional supermarket might employ 30 or 40 people across specialized departments, each paid closer to the legal minimum. Aldi employs a fraction of that headcount, so paying a premium wage to attract someone capable of running registers, stocking pallets, and managing inventory in the same shift ends up cheaper in total than a much larger, less flexible workforce. Higher wages here are not an act of generosity so much as an engineering requirement. A store that runs on 3 to 5 employees simply cannot afford high turnover or under-motivated staff, since a single absence can grind an entire location to a halt. Paying more up front buys the reliability the whole system depends on. This wage strategy also gives Aldi a genuine recruiting edge in a labor market where retail jobs are often seen as a last resort. Being able to advertise pay that beats a traditional grocery competitor without needing a union contract to force the issue attracts a more motivated applicant pool from the start, which in turn makes the intense cross-training demands of the job far easier to sustain long-term. That same standard of paying for performance instead of settling for cheap shows up just as aggressively on the supplier side, where Aldi enforces quality with a level of ruthlessness that terrifies an entire industry. Covered next in reason number 11. Number 11. Firing suppliers overnight, no matter how big. Traditional grocers face enormous leverage from national brands. Threaten to drop Coca-Cola and you risk a customer riot. Aldi doesn't carry those brands, so it uses its freedom aggressively. Every supplier must pass a blind taste test against the leading national brand, and if quality slips or a competitor beats the price, Aldi terminates the contract almost overnight and hands the volume elsewhere. Landing an Aldi contract can mean an enormous guaranteed order volume running through a factory for years. Losing it overnight over a fraction of a cent keeps every supplier in the network continuously innovating and cutting their own costs, savings that eventually flow straight through to the shelf price. This kind of arrangement would be unthinkable for a traditional grocery chain dealing with a household name. If Kroger tried to squeeze Coca-Cola the way Aldi squeezes its own private label suppliers, the brand could simply pull its product entirely, sparking a customer backlash no traditional store wants to manage. Aldi sidesteps that entire problem by never depending on a brand it doesn't control. This dynamic also explains why Aldi's private label products so often taste as good as or better than the national brand equivalent. The suppliers competing for these contracts are frequently the exact same manufacturers producing the name brand version down the street, and they know a single failed taste test can end a multi-year relationship overnight. That pressure keeps quality high in a way that a traditional, brand-loyal supply relationship simply doesn't replicate. That refusal to protect a relationship out of habit shows up again in how Aldi treats your personal data, in a decision that goes directly against how every other major retailer makes its money, exactly where we are headed in reason number 10. Number 10. Refusing to build a loyalty app or track customer data. Every major chain runs a loyalty program that tracks your purchases and sells that data to advertisers for enormous sums. Aldi has no app, no rewards card, and does not track your purchase history. It walks away from an entire secondary revenue stream, betting that customer trust and price transparency are worth more than data brokering, while also eliminating the technology division and compliance overhead a loyalty program requires. Building and maintaining a loyalty app requires ongoing app development, customer support for account issues, and a legal team dedicated to privacy compliance across dozens of jurisdictions. An entire cost center that Aldi simply avoids by never building the program in the first place. Traditional grocery chains have leaned so heavily into this model that some now generate a meaningful share of their profit from advertising and data sales rather than from groceries themselves, effectively turning the checkout scanner into a surveillance device. Aldi's refusal to participate means every customer shops in genuine anonymity, with no purchase history quietly following them into targeted ads later that day. That same appetite for an unconventional bet shows up on a much larger scale in how Aldi has been expanding across the country, which is exactly what we are covering in reason number 9. Number 9. Buying failing chains and flipping them, almost overnight. Traditional acquisitions drag on for years, with slow rebranding and confusing transition periods for customers. Aldi has converted hundreds of acquired locations into fully operational Aldi stores within months, not years. because its standardized, tiny inventory model is essentially a copy-paste operation compared to a traditional supermarket's brand-heavy integration. This speed also means communities that just lost their only nearby grocery option get a fully stocked store back within weeks, rather than being left without fresh food for months, while a traditional chain slowly figures out its next move. Traditional grocery acquisitions typically require untangling complicated vendor contracts, national brand slotting agreements, and store layouts built around dozens of specialized departments. Aldi's private label-only skeleton crew model has almost none of that complexity to untangle, which is exactly why it can move at a pace no legacy competitor can match. This aggressive acquisition strategy also gives Aldi something traditional chains struggle to replicate: instant national scale. In markets it previously had no footprint in at all. Rather than spending years slowly building brand recognition store by store in a new region, Aldi can absorb an existing chain's real estate, staff, and customer base practically overnight, converting decades of a competitor's local goodwill into its own market share almost as fast as the paperwork can be signed. Honestly, if your old grocery store just turned into an Aldi overnight, you already know exactly how wild that speed feels in real life. If this video is opening your eyes to how this company actually operates, do us a favor and hit that like button and share it with someone who still thinks Aldi is just the cheap store. They need to see this too. That same commitment to consistency shows up again in how Aldi prices its shelves nationwide, a decision that removes an entire layer of distrust customers have learned to expect from traditional grocery pricing. Exactly where we are headed in reason number 8. Number 8. One price, every store. No regional markup. Traditional chains routinely charge more for the same product depending on the zip code, a practice that has drawn criticism for years without meaningfully stopping. Aldi controls its own private label supply chain from factory to shelf, keeping pricing remarkably consistent nationwide, regardless of neighborhood income. It also simplifies logistics enormously, replacing dozens of regional pricing strategies with a single national one. Customers do not have to wonder whether they are being charged a premium simply because of where they live. And that transparency reinforces the same trust Aldi has built through its no loyalty card, no tracking approach to the rest of its business. Traditional pricing algorithms are increasingly built around what a specific zip code is willing to pay, sometimes charging more in wealthier suburbs and less in lower-income neighborhoods just a short drive apart. That kind of dynamic, location-based pricing has drawn criticism for years, and Aldi's blanket refusal to play that game stands in sharp contrast to how sophisticated traditional grocery pricing has become. This uniform approach also makes Aldi far easier to plan around for budget-conscious families. Instead of researching which nearby location happens to run cheaper prices this month, a shopper can trust that the number on the shelf is close to the number they'll see at any other Aldi in the country. A level of predictability that traditional grocery pricing, with its constant regional adjustments and rotating promotions, almost never offers. Quick reminder here, if you're enjoying seeing these industry secrets exposed one by one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, because the next 13 reasons only get bolder from here. That same refusal to play games with pricing extends directly into how Aldi handles discounts altogether, a category every other grocery store treats as essential to survival, which we are exposing in reason number 7. Number 7. Refusing all manufacturer coupons. Traditional supermarkets inflate everyday prices just so they can offer a coupon that makes you feel like a savvy shopper, while quietly harvesting your data through the loyalty card required to redeem it. Aldi accepts none of it. No coupons, no punch cards, no inflate then discount game. Whether you shop Tuesday morning or Sunday afternoon, the shelf price is the real price, permanently. Refusing coupons also eliminates a huge chunk of operational overhead, since processing manufacturer coupons requires dedicated IT infrastructure, complex checkout software, and paperwork mailed back to manufacturers for reimbursement, costs that traditional stores absorb and quietly pass along in the base price of everything else. There is also a data angle hiding underneath this decision. Loyalty cards required to redeem most coupon programs double as tracking devices, and by refusing coupons entirely, Aldi removes the last remaining excuse a traditional store would have to ask for your personal information at the register. That same rejection of the entire promotional arms race shows up in how Aldi chooses to advertise at all, which brings us to reason number 6. Number 6, refusing to fight the weekly circular war. Traditional grocery chains spend heavily on weekly newspaper inserts, mailers, and flashy weekend sales to drive short-term foot traffic. Aldi mostly skips this arms race, It relies on consistently low everyday pricing instead of manufactured urgency, cutting an entire marketing department's worth of overhead that traditional stores treat as unavoidable. That decision also frees shoppers from planning their trips around a Wednesday circular or a weekend flash sale. Whether you walk in on a random Tuesday or the day before a holiday, you already know roughly what you are going to pay, which removes the psychological game traditional stores play by making customers feel like they only win when they catch a sale. That same appetite for cutting an accepted industry cost shows up again in the parking lot itself, in one of the most famous and misunderstood decisions Aldi has ever made, which is exactly where we are headed in reason number 5. Number 5, the quarter cart deposit. Traditional supermarkets pay dedicated staff to chase down abandoned carts across scorching or freezing parking lots, absorbing wage costs, injury claims, and vehicle damage liability. Aldi requires a 25-cent deposit to unlock a cart, effectively outsourcing the labor of retrieval to the customer. Losing a physical coin outweighs the minor hassle of walking the cart back, and the savings get passed straight to your grocery bill. Because customers police themselves, Aldi never needs a dedicated cart retriever on payroll, never pays out insurance claims for a runaway cart denting someone's car door, and never has to replace carts that wandered off into a ditch. All savings that traditional store parking lots absorb every single day. Behavioral economics explains exactly why this tiny piece of plastic and metal works so well. The psychological discomfort of watching a physical coin disappear into a slot is a far stronger motivator than any sign reminding customers to return their cart. Traditional supermarkets have tried employee incentive programs and signage campaigns to solve the same problem for decades, and none of it comes close to the effectiveness of a 25-cent deposit sitting right there in the cart handle. That same willingness to shift effort onto the customer in exchange for lower prices shows up again in the sheer size of the store itself, exactly where we are headed in reason number 4. Number 4, stocking. Only 1,400 items, on purpose. A traditional mega store carries 40,000 to 100,000 items, burying you in decision fatigue before you even reach the register. Aldi deliberately curates its shelves down to roughly 1,400 items, giving suppliers guaranteed volume in exchange for rock-bottom wholesale prices, and giving customers one good option instead of 30 confusing ones. Because a single ketchup supplier is guaranteed astronomical volume across thousands of stores, Aldi can demand a wholesale price no traditional distributor juggling dozens of competing brands could ever negotiate, and it passes that leverage straight through to the customer. This kind of radical curation also cures what researchers call decision fatigue. Instead of standing in an aisle comparing 30 types of ketchup, a shopper grabs the one option available and keeps moving, arriving at checkout with a clear head instead of the exhausted, impulse-prone mindset traditional stores rely on to sell overpriced items near the register. That same discipline extends to the people running the store, where Aldi enforces a staffing rule almost no traditional chain would attempt, which is exactly what we are covering in reason number 3. Number 3, cross-training. Every single employee, no exceptions. Traditional supermarkets run entire specialized departments, bakers, butchers, florists, deli staff, each a financial liability that frequently operates at a loss. Aldi runs stores on 3 to 5 employees total, with 0 specialized departments because every worker is trained to do every job. When the line gets long, whoever is stocking pallets sprints to open a register, then goes right back to work. There is no such thing as just a cashier or just a stock clerk at Aldi. Every employee on the floor can run any station in the store, which means the company never has to carry the dead weight of a department that only exists to lure customers in at a loss. Traditional supermarket departments like the bakery, the butcher counter, and the deli are often referred to internally as loss leaders, meaning they operate at a net loss specifically to create the impression of a full-service grocery experience. Aldi looked at that entire concept and rejected it outright, betting correctly that most shoppers would rather have lower prices across the board than the theater of a manned deli counter they rarely use anyway. That same refusal to accept industry-standard overhead shows up in the single biggest deal Aldi ever cuts with its own suppliers, a move that terrifies the entire national food industry, which is exactly what we are covering in reason number 2. Number 2, cutting out national brands and slotting fees entirely. For generations, brands like Kraft and Kellogg's paid supermarkets slotting fees just to get their boxes at eye level, a cost every traditional chain quietly passes on to you. Aldi refuses to play that game. Over 90% of its shelves are private label, made in the exact same factories as the national brands. without the marketing budgets or shelf placement bribes inflating the price. The identical product often sells for up to 50% less, because Aldi doesn't spend billions on Super Bowl commercials or celebrity endorsements, and doesn't charge itself a slotting fee to stock its own private label. It can strip out the entire brand tax that traditional shoppers pay without ever realizing it, all while sourcing ingredients from the same supply lines the big names rely on. To even get on an Aldi shelf, a supplier has to survive a grueling gauntlet of blind taste tests where their product has to beat the national brand, not just match it. If they fail, they simply don't get the contract, and once they succeed, Aldi effectively owns their operational soul, since that single retailer often represents a massive percentage of the factory's total output. This entire arrangement flips the traditional power dynamic of the grocery industry on its head. For generations, massive food conglomerates dictated terms to supermarkets, charging slotting fees just to guarantee eye-level shelf space. Aldi refuses to pay those fees to anyone, including itself, which is exactly why it can offer the identical product a national brand sells, made in the identical factory, for a fraction of the price. Everything on this list has been building toward the single boldest policy in the entire company, the one that puts Aldi's own money on the line every time a customer is unhappy, which is exactly what we are covering in reason number 1. Number 1, the double guarantee return. A product to a traditional grocery store and you typically need a receipt, the actual item in hand, and you'll get either a refund or a replacement, rarely both. Aldi's double guarantee gives customers both a full replacement and a full refund if they are unsatisfied for any reason, often without needing to return the item or produce a receipt at all. It should be a magnet for abuse, but Aldi has bet that customer trust is worth more than the rare dishonest return, removing all financial risk from trying something new. No traditional chain has been willing to make that same bet, because their margins are protected by strict, inconvenient return policies designed to discourage customers from bothering. Aldi's margins are thin too, but it has decided that trust converts more first-time buyers into loyal, repeat customers than a strict return policy ever could. And that single decision might be the boldest move on this entire list. Think about what this policy actually does to consumer behavior. A shopper, hesitant to try an unfamiliar private label brand instead of the national name they already trust, has almost nothing to lose by giving it a shot, since even total dissatisfaction results in getting their money back and a replacement item. That removed friction is likely a meaningful part of why so many customers eventually abandon national brands entirely once they start shopping at Aldi, discovering that the private label alternative was just as good or better all along. That is the countdown. 15 decisions. And in every single case, Aldi looked at what every other grocery store in America considers a non-negotiable rule of the business and simply refused to follow it. Traditional chains built their entire strategy around minimizing risk and maximizing every possible revenue stream, from tobacco sales to data brokering to regional price gouging. Aldi built its strategy around trust, speed, and radical simplicity instead. And the fact that it keeps growing faster than almost anyone else in the industry suggests the traditional playbook was never as necessary as it looked. Which one of these surprised you the most? Let us know down in the comments. And if you want to see exactly which traditional supermarket habits are quietly draining your wallet, click the video on the left. Don't forget to subscribe for more grocery industry secrets.